Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Election Day coverage of Vireo for Development. Today we have James and Jeremy with Stephanie Larison. We also have Billy Peterson-Lugo from Baylor and Chris Starcher from Texas Tech. And we have a number of tickets to cover, and so we might as well get going.
Thanks, Ryan. We're going to start out with some cars that are related to the controlled vocabulary functionality and how we're using that functionality to handle management of committee members as well as management of the submission types in the system. So let me just go ahead and dive right into the interface here. And you'll be able to see on my application settings this controlled vocabulary management area. And I've been through this already today, so I've got this controlled vocabulary uploaded already, but I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time for demonstration purposes. So I'll create a controlled vocabulary. I'll call it another faculty list. And then I'm going to upload a comma separated value file to populate that controlled vocabulary. Here's my file. So I'll upload that, click the upload button, and it's going to give me this nice preview of what I'm uploading here. So we see all these names and emails, and that's going to be, in fact, the controlled vocabulary for faculty names. So I'll confirm that. And what I can do now is come to the workflow management. And I created this new college in my institution, the College of Magic. It's a magical college. I'm going to manage the workflow on there. And under the document information, we're all familiar with this field for committee members. And I'm going to update that field. Here's the interface for modifications to that field, and I'm going to open up the controlled vocabulary section. Here's where I can pick that controlled vocabulary. So I'll say I want that faculty list to be my controlled vocabulary on that field. So that's done. And what I'm also going to demonstrate.
Sorry, James, did you say also the submission type was also a controlled vocabulary?
That's right, Stephanie. And
could you just show that, like where you made it and then where it pops up in that workflow?
Absolutely. Yeah. So in fact, I'll be doing all three of these kind of in one go here. The predicate for the committee member types in the system. We're going to see that. We actually saw that already in that form I was editing. And then we had that CSV for committee members that I uploaded. And we're also going to see how the document, or rather the submission types, are now going to be controlled for. And that controlled vocabulary comes out of the box just at system startup. So that one is pre-populated.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so coming back to Vireo here, I made those changes to the workflow here. So now I'm going to come to the student submission side. And I'm going to start a new submission. And I'll pick that organization that I just customized. Just input some data for kind of fleshing it out. And I'll come right over to document information where we actually have those controlled vocabularies right now. And if I go to the submission type, we can see under that I have this pre-populated controlled vocabulary. That's exactly the one that we have in our Vireo 3 instance here at A&M. And of course, that's completely customizable if you want to alter that controlled vocabulary. And we also have this field for the committee members where I just uploaded that controlled vocabulary, which you might imagine would come from like a dump of your campus LDAP or from the registrar's office or something like that. And as I type here, you can see that I actually get an auto-complete. It's a repeatable field, so I'll go ahead and add a couple more. And that is how that works.
James, I know we haven't talked, I don't think we've really talked about the student interface, but I'm wondering whether, if it is possible, whether we can scoop those plus and minus things over closer to the boxes and stuff, so I honestly didn't, I didn't notice.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they're big boxes and stuff.
Yeah, great point, Stephanie.
Yeah, I don't think that I would have realized what they were for, especially since they're closer to the little sticky notes. But
if you really shrink the page, you kind of get a different effect. But yeah, we want to move those over, so we can certainly make a card for that on the next sprint. Okay, but for the time being, Stephanie, is that going to meet your expectations for controlling committee members and for controlling submission types?
for the committee members, I honestly don't. I'm not sure what that 367 is. Did you do that one with the predicates? I don't understand that part.
Yes. Well, I can go into some more detail on that if you care to see it. If we come over to the manage workflow, I was looking at the document information. So there is this field committee members. And if I go to look at that field, I can open up the advanced section here. I see that, in fact, we do have what is shown as in the user interface, this key committee member. And on the back end, that's what's called a predicate. That's a metadata predicate. So that's kind of like the internal label for metadata that's fulfilling that field. And all these values that you see for the metadata key on all this stuff that's coming out of the box, just fresh out the box, that stuff is all pre-populated whenever you start the server with a stock configuration.
Okay. Now I understand.
So
thank you.
That was handled for committee members and committee chair in the course of that work. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So given that, are you satisfied with the work on handling committee members and submission types?
Did you show? I'm sorry. Did you show the submission types in the?
I think I did. But let's take a look again.
You said it was pre-populated. I remember that part. Right in there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In terms of where it is on the administrative side.
Oh yeah, we can show that too. So there it is. And we can bring up that for modification, and we should
Nope.
find...
I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, okay. So it's a control... Never mind, I got it. I'll say controlled vocabulary. I got it. Okay. And in order to... Sorry. So if, for whatever reason, we didn't want a performance piece or something like that, it would be... we go back to the configurable settings. I can't remember what the tab is called.
Right. So,
but you would export it, remove the ones that you want, and then or just upload a new file.
Right. So I can export this CSV of submission types. I can make modifications, and then re-upload it if I want to make changes to that list. That's exactly right.
Okay.
That might be a bit detailed for this demonstration because I have to fire up Excel and do some editing. So,
right.
But that would be the workflow for that.
Okay. Yep, it all looks good. Mm-hmm.
Great, thanks. Okay, and then there were a couple of tweaks that we actually saw in passing on the controlled vocabulary management there. So we wanted to update some of the wording on that and provide some hover text for the buttons. And that work was done, but I think we didn't do it exactly right. Because if we wanted to, as you suggest, change the vocabulary for submission types, what we do is we go to this button, Upload Controlled Vocabulary, and we would select submission type here. It's already selected. And then we would click this button to export. And you can see the hover text there, download this controlled vocabulary CSV from the server. So that was actually right here what we need to say is export CSV. And up here, we need to say upload export controlled vocabulary. So that's a little fix we need to make.
There.
Right, and on this button as well. So that is, we didn't quite do that exactly the way we wanted to, but we did have a hover button on, or hover text on the button in the CSV modal. Although now that I look at that, we might want some hover text on the accordion spot as well.
We have the I there.
How does that help?
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so add controlled vocabulary and upload controlled vocabulary are kind of, the add would be for something brand new, and
Right.
upload is kind of really to update or export. Is that right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly
Maybe
right.
we can change it to update and export. Not sure.
Yeah, or manage perhaps. Yeah, so I think we got some more tweaks to do on that language, so we're not going to move that card over quite yet.
Okay.
But we did have hover text in the modal, and we did have help information right next to the button here. So for the second part of that, the hover text, is that going to be acceptable to you?
Yes, the hover text is good. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right, and next up, we're going to see on the student submission side that the file uploads have gotten finalized. And so for that, I can come over to this submission I already have in progress. I can come to the file upload section. And first of all, maybe I want to upload my primary document. So for that, I'll come and select one in this file selector here. And there's a little hiccup with the progress bar not closing after the upload is complete, but you can see that the upload is succeeding there. And now that I've uploaded the file, I'm able to download it again if I want to see it. So I'll go ahead and upload that primary file. And you have a question, Stephanie?
Yeah, actually, this is in Vireo 3. I think ProQuest has a requirement of what that name of that primary file is. So it just might be something that we need to add, is added to JIRA. So, because it's supposed to be, I think, maybe last name and then type of document. I don't know if by type I mean whether it's a dissertation or master's. Yeah, last name, whether it's dissertation or master's, and then also the year. So it's, I'll probably have to, I'm going to try to find some specifications or something like that. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be very kind if you could take a note of that, and we could
Yeah.
make a card for that future.
I didn't notice until just now that it didn't change names. So, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And now I'm going to add some additional uploads here. just put a couple more files in the supplementary section. Oop, it's the same file. Let me add another one. Okay, so that is going to be the file uploading. And as you saw, that there was a little flub with the upload progress bar not vanishing after the file upload was complete. So I think that's not going to be 3 points to fix, but that's going to be a little bug fix we're going to need to save for the next round of work on this.
And do we have recorded somewhere that we need, in the event the drag and drop thing doesn't work for somebody, that there is a browse to upload the file?
Right, that would be just a small change in the text, because it says here, drop a file here to begin upload, but also you can just click to get the file picker.
Oh,
so you probably want to change this language to something of the effect of click to upload or drag a file here.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be fine. So the functionality is there. It's just you'd have to know to click.
Right. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So you bet. We'll take a note of that as well. All right. So I think we almost have that feature done. Just a really minor fix before we'll want to put that in the done column. What's more, we're actually going to see these files when we move on in the demo to the admin item view side of things. But before we get there, we're going to demonstrate this feature about the navigation to that item tab. And so that's VIR 364 here. Need the item tag to take me to the list, so you can actually pick which item to view. So what we mean by that is here we are on the admin side of things. We're making some changes in the settings, and now we decide we want to view a thesis. And so we'll click the View tab. Now we haven't actually selected a submission yet, and so what it really does is gives us this warning, select a submission to view, and it presents us with the list of ETDs. And so I will go ahead and select the one that I was just working on. And as a matter of fact, that's the next card here, this 363. As a manager, I need to click Submissions to see them in the Admin Submission Item tab. So I will do so. I will click the submission, and voila. Here we are in the View tab, actually looking at the submission in question. So for those two features, the Item tab actually taking you to the list and being able to click the submissions on the list, is that going to satisfy your expectations, Stephanie?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. So next up, we're going to see this VIR 151, which is the tabs that are available on the item view. And in Vireo 3, they were designated the personal, the document, and the degree info tabs. And in Vireo 4, that kind of listing was not immediately appropriate because the workflows are so customizable, and if you add a new field, there's no way of knowing which one of these tabs it might fall into. And so, as an alternative to that, we proposed, and we're going to demo today, that you can actually leverage the workflow steps to do that organization of tabs. And so you'll see what I mean as we look at these tabs that are available across the top here: personal information, license agreement, and document information. And you'll note that these actually mirror the student side of the submission. So there's the personal information with such fields, license information with such fields, and document information with such fields as these. And this is just a very natural way of handling the organization of those fields. If it works for the student, then it's a natural mode of organization for the admins as well. And it gives us a lot of functionality without having to do a lot of additional complex coding. So,
Do you have? Would you be able to kind of demonstrate of, I don't know, adding a new piece to a workflow step, or either moving one piece from a workflow to another workflow step?
Yes, I think I can do that for you, Stephanie. Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah, sure, no
just
problem.
so I understand a little bit more of how it would work and that it does work.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Now, as you know, the submissions are snapshots of the workflow at the time that the submission's created. So in order to show a new example, I'm going to need to make a new workflow, which means making a new organization on here, because I've already made submissions on all these different organizations. So I'll go ahead and create a new organization. Any good suggestions out there? College. I'm already kind of reaching for them with College of Magic. College of
Tribbles.
College. What's that, Doug?
Tribbles.
Tribbles. Here we go. And there it is. The esteemed and ancient college, of course. And we can manage the workflow. Let's try adding a workflow step. We'll say, I don't know. Oh, information about space. Very good. And I can go to this workflow step, and I can go ahead and add a new field. So call it space velocity, perhaps. Create that label. It'll be a typical text input, naturally. And we'll add another one. And of course, if I was doing this for real, I'd probably want to attach some control vocabularies for these. But for demonstration purposes, we'll call that OK. So come back to the student submission side. I will go ahead and start a new submission. Sure, I want to. And here on our new submission, we have some information to fill in here. Put in some data.
There's just the one.
So that submission is now in the system with some data. So let's go ahead and come back to the list. I happen to know this is my new one in progress. And now here we can see a new tab on the admin side for managing this information. So there we go.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, just right when such a field is created, you know, there's not really any obvious place to put it. The planets visited, the spacecraft velocity, who knows whether that's personal information, document information. What we can say for sure is that it's associated with the workflow step that it was put on. So I think that this is not merely an accommodation for the customizability of the workflows, but it's also kind of taking advantage of the information supplied by those custom workflows.
Very interesting. So you could theoretically, I mean, with if you're doing submissions or something from colleges or whatever that do have different workflows, then for some students you would see maybe 3 tabs, and some of them you might see 4. But it's that's interesting. It's really interesting. So that's really cool. I completely understand now. So it's super impressive that it's so quick to update. Very good.
And one more thing to note, we actually only have 4 tabs here, whereas there are 5 tabs on this workflow, one of them being the file upload. But if you look at the file upload step, it consists entirely of these file upload fields. It doesn't have any metadata. And this list of tabs here is being programmatically filtered to omit any workflow step that doesn't have any metadata.
Okay. Right, because it'd just be a blank field anyway, or nothing there.
Right.
Okay.
So, Stephanie, I hope that meets your expectations for handling the tabs on the item view side.
Yes, I think that works very well.
Wonderful.
You know what I didn't ask you, and maybe this is beyond that one, and because a license hasn't been uploaded or anything, is it going to appear down there with the rest of the files, or does it appear on the tab? I don't think we probably don't even have one in there to upload. Maybe you do. I don't know.
Yeah, the licenses. I think this might have been the case in Vireo 3. Actually, well, I'm not sure. They are actually a customizable piece of text. If I go to the settings, I believe there's like something about licensing on here. Is that? Oh, here you go. Here you go. Right. So in Vireo 3, there was some license text that the admin could edit, and then that would get attached as a file to each individual item, I believe. But it's
correct.
Since there was precisely one per submission and it got attached automatically, you could imagine handling it as metadata or as a file, and then it's really up to the exporter to determine how that would be treated on its way to a repository. And probably in that case, it would be presented as a separate file, although not necessarily. And internal to Vireo, you can handle it a lot of different ways. It's really kind of irrelevant whether it is a separate file or if it's a metadata field. So I think maybe we haven't fully addressed the implementation of the license yet, but we're certainly amenable to whatever kind of features that we would need surrounding that.
Okay. I'll look more into the ProQuest requirements, or the licenses, because I know that they're kind of interactive in terms of they pull in the student's name and I think the date that they agreed to the license. I'll look into that and stuff and let you know what the end product needs to be.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
And so just a couple more cards to look at today. This reviewer notes, which is just a text field that is attached to the submissions, and then the all files listing, and associated with that, the listing of the primary document on a submission. And the rest of the cards, I want to say, are just kind of really in the weeds sort of bug fixes and technical stuff that the developers wanted to clean up and fix, but nothing that is really user-oriented. So we'll move on now to this 154 reviewer notes. So I'll come back to my list here. And here I see a reviewer notes field, which I can edit. So I can save that value, and it gets attached to the submission for other admins to see. Now, the action log has not been implemented yet, but when that gets implemented, we will expect to see that those note changes getting logged. So not much to it, except that it is a text field that gets persisted. Maybe in order to show that, I can come look at another submission. Well, I've annotated that one separately. Here's one that I expect not to see any notation. So no notes on that one. So they all get separate notes attached to them. And the notes, of course, can be changed after the fact. So for the feature of reviewer notes in isolation, is that going to meet your expectations, Stephanie?
Yes, looks good. Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, and finally today, we'll look at this VIR 156, the all files listing. And in this context, we're going to kind of come full circle and see on the admin side the very files that were uploaded by the student on the submission side. So let me come back to this well-annotated document here. And so first of all, there's this active document module on the sidebar, which has the primary document that I uploaded, as well as a clicker here to view all files. If I click that clicker, I can come down and see all the files. Now, the astute observer will see that this is actually a PowerPoint, not a PDF, but that's just because I didn't have a PDF on the file system when I was making this submission. I can mention, however, that can be controlled for using the controlled vocabulary functionality, as we saw in a few demos ago, I believe. And that could also...
You mean that you can limit it? You can make sure that only PDFs are uploaded?
Yes, that's correct.
By using that? Okay. All right. Thank you.
So down on the All Files section here, I am able to download the files if I choose to. So I can click Download. I can also make edits to them with the little pencil here. So I can change the file name. I can change the file type. So I'll make that alteration there. And I think what's pretty cool is now if I come back and look at that submission again, I'm going to see that those changes are propagated throughout the system. So now that one that was edited on the admin side has a new file name as per the edits, and it also got moved into a different section as per the edits. So, and in addition to all that, we have this dialog for uploading files. That's where you'll be able to replace the primary document if you so desire. And also here you have this clicker to flag as being in need of corrections, and that's going to result in a status change on the submission. And so I'm going to go ahead and click that flag so we'll be able to see that in action. Ooh. Okay. And as a matter of fact, now if I come to the list, come back to the list, we're going to see that that document is now in needs correction state. So that that status update is indeed effective. And what's more, on the add files, you have the ability to add additional documents. And this functionality is all kind of stubbed out right now because it has all this email business associated with it. And we don't have the email hooks built in yet, but we do have the forms there to accommodate the emailing. So in my view, that functionality is kind of separate from the file management and calls for a separate card for sizing and for tracking the work on that. But we do have a head start on that with the availability of the fields for getting to that email. I'll go ahead and add a administrative file, why not? And now I can see that file having been successfully uploaded. So I think that about does it for the files listing, with the exception of the email functionality.